So I am going to make these little, like, cute little easy little truffles, right? So I'm using gluten-free Oreos because what? God, I love it. Now there's gluten-free Oreos. Yeah. So you can use regular Oreos if that's what you're able to have. But I'm gluten-free, so I'm using gluten-free. So I just kind of was like heating up this chocolate at the end just so I don't have to do it at the end. But anyways, so I am also going to use our Power Chef, and I'm going to use it to just chop up these Oreos. And I think I need like 22 or something very specific like that. So I'm just going to throw a whole bunch in here. And I'm going to just toss those in, and I'm going to do them half and half because if you do overload this guy, he does not want to spin. So kind of like me, right? If I get overloaded, I don't want to spin either. I just want to I don't know, stay in bed. All right. So I just put my Oreos right in there, right? And so I'm just going to let me tilt this down for you guys to see what's happening because you don't need to look at me. You want to look at this, right? All right. So I'm just going to put this actually on the countertop and not something that moves. Sorry, it's super loud for those of you wearing AirPods. I'm sorry. All right, so I got this chopped up. Look at that. Perfect, crumbly, yumbly stuff. All right, so I'm going to dump this into my little, that's a bowl. And in here, I already have 4 ounces of cream cheese because everything's better with cream cheese. So I'm going to dump that in there, and then I'm going to add the rest of my Oreos in here, 20 something, 10, 12, 11 something. And I'm going to put those in there. And you know, the last time I made this, I couldn't try any because I didn't have gluten-free Oreos. So I was really excited to try that this afternoon. All right. So this is super easy. And the first time I made it years ago, the kids, oh my gosh, I couldn't even keep them out of them. And I had made some samples to take to parties and to take to a meeting. And I had precious few to take with me. And then I had to run back to the store to get more ingredients because they just couldn't help themselves. So I am just mixing this, and it just kind of, I'm just going to kind of push it around in here to kind of start getting to the cream cheese to break up. You definitely want to soften that because it'll just make your life so much easier. And so one of the things that I love so much about our products is that they just make your life in the kitchen so much easier. You know, when you have the right tools in the kitchen, you know, I know some people are like, they don't find anything in the kitchen enjoyable. But I have to say, you know, it's definitely not enjoyable if you don't have the right tools. So, I mean, at least for some people, it makes it tolerable in the kitchen. For me, it definitely makes it enjoyable. I actually really enjoy cooking, and I enjoy being in the kitchen. I enjoy trying different recipes and trying different foods and things like that. I grew up kind of a picky eater. And then as I got older, I realized, you know, like it's fun to try different things. I don't like, you know, everything, but I'm definitely willing to try. And so it's just kind of fun to see, you know, the different flavors and stuff and how they kind of, you know, go together and all that. I love cooking with fresh ingredients. This is actually a lot more processed than what I typically eat in the house. But the kids have, you know, kids are kids, right? We try to eat pretty clean in the house. But you know, you've got to have everything in moderation, right? I mean, if you eat this like perfect diet all the time, especially for the kids, then when they have school parties and things like that, you know, they end up, you know, getting upset stomachs because they're not used to, you know, all of that type of food. And that's not, you know, ideal either. So, all right. So this is kind of mixed up. I'm going to mix up just a little bit more with my hands just to make it a little bit easier. Um, and so all I'm going to do is form this into balls, right? I'm just going to form this into little, you know, truffle size, right? And so it's easier just to kind of roll them out. We do have a scooper that I use for a lot of things, but with this, it's just a little bit easier because I need to kind of mush it, right? Kind of mush it together and form it. And then what I do is actually, I'll put this in the refrigerator to cool, like to chill these a little bit to kind of get that cream cheese to not be quite as soft. But I am going to show you how I dip them. so that you can see that, because it can be kind of messy unless you have a couple tricks. So I do have a couple tricks to just kind of dip them, so it'll make it a little bit easier for you. So you can make them into cake balls, right? So you can put sticks in them and do it that way. And you can, even if you don't want to make them into cake balls and like have the stick sticking out, you can use the stick to make it easier for your dipping, and then take the stick out, and then you can always just kind of, put some of the chocolate over top of the holes, right? They won't know the difference, right? So whatever's easiest for you, right? I'm not like a baker. I'm not anybody fancy that makes fancy desserts or anything like that. I actually don't do a lot of baking. It's not my forte. I'm more of a cook, right? I'm more of a savory. I don't do a lot of sweets. I like to eat sweets. I just am not very good at making them. But this is something I can handle, right? Because I didn't have to bake the Oreos, right? I don't have to do that. So I had somebody else doing all that good stuff. All right. So easy. I got all those done. And then I'm actually going to put these onto my silicone mat, right? So you can put them onto parchment paper. You can put them right onto a tray. You can put them wherever, right? But the silicone mat's nice and easy because it cleans up so easily, and you can peel it off of here really nice and easy. It's not going to stick and make a mess, right? Let me get a couple new forks because those forks have chocolate already all over them. All right. So I am going to, my chocolate's already I want it to be kind of this consistency, right? So I want it to be kind of a drippy. And I just have that chocolate from that almond bark from Walmart, right? You don't have to be fancy. You don't need Ghirardelli, right? You're good. Just get the Walmart kind, right? And so, I mean, you can do that if you'd like to. But this is just as good. It's very tasty. All right. And so I am just going to take this now. Normally I would go ahead and put this in the refrigerator to again, let the cream cheese not be quite as soft. So it's a little bit more firm. And so I'm going to set this right on top of here. Let me tilt this down just a little bit more. So you're looking more at that. Don't touch me. Oh, I dropped it. All right. Anywho, all right, so I'm using a fork because I'm going to just like pour this right over top, right? So I want the chocolate to go down through the tines of the pork, of the fork. It's been a long day and my words are starting to not be correct. And then I'm just going to tap, tap, tap right on the side of this, right? Or you can take like a knife and just tap it that way. And that will just kind of get some of the chocolate off, and you'll see like at first it was kind of chunky looking, but now it's kind of getting a little bit smoother, right? So, and I just kind of am tapping some of the excess off. And then I'm just going to very gently push this onto, okay, making sure I'm still in camera view here. I'm just going to gently push this right onto the mat, just like that. Easy peasy, right? All right. So I'll do one more. And oh my gosh, I did it again. Goodness gracious. Okie dokie. And so, yeah. So we're just going to do this, right? And then that's it. I'm going to tap this on the edge. And then I have some that are already made up that I will show you. And I was going to make green chocolate to go over top and just like drizzle. And you know what? Something weird happened. When I added the food coloring to this chocolate, it got to a weird texture. And I was like, what's up with that? So I am not drizzling these. These are going to remain white because they're snowballs now. They will not be decorated little cake balls. They are snowballs. And so that's what they're going to maintain. But these ones here, since they're still wet, I am going to sprinkle those with, I don't know, how about some sugar? Like some just like one of those like little, there we go. See, just some of that red sugary stuff, right? So you get one of these fancy things and you can just use whatever you want and just kind of put some sprinkles on top. And there you go. It's super easy. And it's an easy thing that you can take to the neighbors or to the party or just give to your kids or pop them right in your mouth. So there you go, Pam.